What's cracking, everyone? My name is Ryan, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Simgot EA1000. So this is a second generation flagship IEM from Simgot. It has a 10mm single dynamic driver and it retails in at $219.99. And before I get into this, I do want to send a big thank you to Simgot, who did send this out in exchange for my honest review. All thoughts and opinions are of my own. Now let's take a minute to look at the IEM itself, because I'm honestly impressed with the aesthetics of this. First of all, it is an all metal chassis, which is very reminiscent of the EA500. But the big difference that we're going to see here is there is a high transparent crystal panel that is on the cover of the IEM, giving it a look of elegance. And that is kind of what I felt when I first saw this, which, by the way, I do want to talk about what you get inside the box, because the unboxing for this was also impressive. You get, of course, the IEMs, but on top of that, you're going to get this really nice case. It is a light silver case. It kind of reminds me of something you'd get with some fancy jewelry or something like that. You get a high purity silver plated OFC cable. Terminates at 3.5 mil, but in my opinion is a very nice cable that they include. You get two sets of small, medium, and large silicone tips. Now, from what I can tell, neither set is going to be any different. You just get two sets of them. And then the biggest part of this package that I really want to talk about when we get into sound is 3 tuning filters. Now, the stainless steel nozzle with the black ring is going to be Simgot's classic curve target. And then the other stainless steel nozzle with the red ring is going to be tuned towards the 2019 Harman target. And then lastly, we'll get the very nice gold copper looking plated filter that we see here with a white ring. And that is actually the 2023 Simgot target, which we're going to take a lot of attention to during this video. Now, going in under the hood, again, this is a 10mm single dynamic driver. However, this is their own purple gold diaphragm system that Simgot developed 3 years ago. So it does incorporate a 6mm composite diaphragm on the inside. Now, all of that will come together for 16 ohms of impedance and 127 dB of sensitivity. And then lastly, as far as built-in comfort goes, I mean, this is a pretty lightweight IEM. They're about 10.9 grams, so they aren't too heavy. And I do like the, nice smooth finish on the metal. And personally, I liked the EA500 for the fit. This one I liked as well for the fit. In fact, this one even is a little bit smaller when you compare the two next to each other. And this one just gave me a good seal right away and good comfort, which that's going to be very subjective, especially for me, because I'm really picky with putting things in my ears. So with all that being said, guys, let's talk about sound. Hey, super quick here, guys. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, because I am really trying to grow my sub count. I would love to get to 2,000 by around March, when I'm going to be heading off to New York Can Jam. So if you'd like to do that, help me out, join the channel. I would highly appreciate that, and I'll let you get back to the video. All right, and so to quickly set this up, I do want to let you guys know that I'm only going to focus on 2 of the 3 filters when I talk about the sound, and there's a good reason for that. The stainless steel with the black ring is their classic Simgot target filter, and I did not like that filter at all. It was entirely too bright, it was entirely too harsh, had too much upper mid-range energy, and just was not a good listen on any of the genres of music that I listen to, and so I skipped over that one for a good reason. Now, the 2 I am going to focus on is the 2019 Harman target red ringed filter, and then Simgot's 2023 gold and copper filter. And really, I'm going to focus mostly on that one because, let's be honest, it's their 2023 target filter. It's Simgot taking some feedback and adjusting their tuning, and I think that demands attention to see what we get out of the EA1000 with that. But with all that being said, guys, I want to go ahead and start with bass response first. Now, what I can tell you is really among all the filters, this is not a bass head IEM. It has got a lot of decent bass to it, don't get me wrong. There is some extension there, but it doesn't extend super low, and it doesn't have a ton of body to the bass to where it's anything rumbly or, boomy or any of those type of descriptors, I would say. However, this is well-controlled bass, and it's very tight. And that's what I do like about the bass response of this. It actually has a decent amount of slam. I think the 2019 Harman Target filter is going to give you the most slam of the 3 filters, but even the 2023 Target filter gives you enough slam to where that bass is just very well controlled. And there is a track example, as usual, guys, that I want to give you, and that is Feel Your Ghost by Tiesto. I get it. It's an EDM type track, but this is the kind of bass that I'm talking about. It's fast. It's controlled. When you get big moments of the bass, it doesn't rumble. It doesn't overtake mid-range or treble or anything. It is just tight, precise, and very just well textured, in my opinion, for the bass. But as I said, if you're wanting something big and boomy, it is not that. And what I can also tell you along with that is listening to vocalists and, some pop music like Billie Eilish and things like that, where she incorporates a lot of that thumping bass through her mixes. This IEM did really well on her music. And especially, I would say the 2019 Harman Target probably did the best, because you'll see when I'm talking here as I get into mid-range that one probably has the more tamed mid-range of the 3. And it was just an excellent listening to music like her. So think about other music that incorporates that. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about there with that genre of music and how it pairs up really well with the bass response. But now I do want to talk about that mid-range. And what I can tell you about the mid-range is this is Simgot. This is a classic Simgot curve in that you get a very sharp peak into the upper mid-range. And if you do not like that, you probably still will not like this IEM if you didn't like the other Simgot tunings for that reason. Now, I do think that depending on the filter you go with, you're going to have that tamed a little bit better. I do think the 2023 filter, it does peak up pretty sharp, but then it kind of smoothens out as it goes into the treble, if that kind of makes sense. And what I think with the mid-range of this is some genres are just going to be a little too aggressive with this. Think of heavy metal music, really heavy rock music that has a lot of upper energy going. And especially if you get screaming of vocalists and things, that can really kind of bother you with that upper mid-range energy you're getting from this. But I will tell you, like listening to jazz, easier listening music and things that you want some extra resolution in that mid-range, this paired really well with that, and it paired really well with just pure vocalists when I listened to some of those. Another genre that I felt like it paired well with at times was blues music for me. And guys know, if you've watched my channel, I love my I love my blues music. So one track in particular I do want to tell you about is Make It Rain by Michael Burks. Love this track on this IEM with the gold copper filter 2023 Simgot Target, because his vocals are excellent in this. His guitar is excellent in this. It doesn't pierce, but I get so many details of the music in this and of the instruments that are going on here. And, because this doesn't have super boomy bass, that doesn't overtake it. It just balances it very well out. And there's a lot of good detailed resolution to the mid-range, really, no matter what filter you choose. Again, 2019 Harman Target is probably the safe zone, but if you want to try something different, try out the 2023 Target filter, because I did enjoy that, at least with that track and a lot of different blues music that I listened to on this IEM. Now, we are going to go ahead and segue that right into treble, because treble can get sibilance at time depending on the filter. And that's where I tell you to stay the hell away from the black filter, because that is where it's just the brightest, it's the most sibilant, and you get the upper mid-range energy. And it's just, I kind of wonder why they even included that in the filters, to be honest, but it's their classic Target, so I guess they kind of had to, but I just did not enjoy that at all with the treble. But what I can tell you is I do think this is where the 2023 Target filter wins out, because it probably had the least amount of spiciness and sibilance in the treble and wasn't quite as stabby in my ears as sometimes the even Harman Target filter can be. And I think this again complements jazz music, classical music, and things like that really well, that you want those little extra bit of details, and you don't have to listen to this very loud to get that, because there's decent brilliance and space of the treble of this. Now, I do think the 2019 Harman Target might give you just a little bit more airiness. It's not much, but I still prefer the 2023 Target for my listening taste with the treble with this. And there's one particular artist that I think anybody should check out with this IEM, and that's Marie Samuelson. And there was especially one track called, I believe, Richter. I look at my notes, Richter November. Now this track, I listened to it through, and there's a very, very high pitched string instrument that's going through the very beginning of this track, and it kind of continues on throughout. Because this has such good details though, when she's going through and doing her solos throughout this mix, it's beautiful. It truly is. And that upper string does not overtake it, does not pierce me enough to where, you know, I kind of have to just skip past it, especially on the 2023 Target. And it's a beautiful sound, and I could listen to it on lower volumes and still be extremely pleased with what I was hearing. So again, if you're a classical music lover and you like those types of classical music, check that out on this IEM. I think you're going to be happy there. Now, where this can be a little bit aggressive is when we're talking about that EDM music and things, because depending on the type of synthesized, you know, instruments that you're getting and digitized instruments that you're getting, it can become harsh. A little bit too harsh and a little bit too stabby in the treble, depending on the filter again here. And because you don't get that big boomy bass, you may notice that more than what you would on other IEMs, which is what I'm going to kind of end with here and compare this to two other IEMs that I think are going to be really important. One of them is the Kiwi Ears Quintet, and the other one is the Dunu Falcon Ultra. Both of these IEMs come in right around the price of the EA1000. I'm going to give you a short summary, which hopefully kind of explains where you're going to find your differences. The Dunu Falcon Ultra, to me, is the most musical of the three of these. It's probably the most forgiving with mid-range, with harshness, with sibilance. It's got decent enough bass to it as well, and is really well-rounded, in my opinion, for an IEM. If you want something a little more analytical, however, but still want to maintain some of that fun, that's where I think the Kiwi Ears Quintet comes in. Now, the Quintet has more bass down low, but it isn't as controlled as on this one right here. In fact, there are some tracks on the Quintet when I went back to listen again and A/B to this that I was like, yeah, I didn't care for some of that bass. Thinking about like Billie Eilish again, and some of that big boomy bass got a little flubby at times and just out of control with that IEM compared to this. But don't get me wrong, the Quintet is still an excellent IEM that I enjoy. Both of those, by the way, the Falcon Ultra and the Quintet, do not have that upper mid-range that this IEM does. So if that's something that bothers you, you may want to look elsewhere for those. But I got to tell you, analytically, this is an excellent IEM. It's got excellent details. It's got excellent space. I do like the stage on this IEM as well. I feel like it's got just as much stage as on the Quintet and possibly a little bit more. And I think that's where their purple gold diaphragm system that I talked about at the beginning, I think that's where that's kind of helping this IEM out with giving it a little bit more perceived space and stage. I don't doubt that Simgot has done a nice job with this, and they have listened to some feedback, because it's evident with that 2023 Target filter compared to the classic filter. It's, if you hear it, you'll know what I mean. It's an improvement by far for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If so, guys, please smash that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, because, well, I got more things coming up around the corner. It's holiday season. I'm busy, but I got things to work on. All right. I thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.